Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Santo Derisi, welcome back to ATV Talk. How are you, brother?
Doing good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. Um, it's been a pretty awesome 2024 for the Derisi family. I want to get into it a little bit, but one of my big questions, first off, is, they talk about the ATV industry and how it's dying and this, that, and the other thing. A company like yours is growing, and it seems to me like you're busy all the time. How does that play that the industry's dying and you're busy?
I don't know, honestly, other than, we work really hard and we're there to all the races and events and stuff, and we really try to push hard and talk to a lot of people and all. And, you have a lot of good riders too out there that really help to push the industry as well, So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a hard question to really answer, honestly. I know COVID hit and stuff, and it kind of jump started the industry back again. We have felt it fall off a little bit just kind of lately, but that could be due to election and stuff like that. So who knows?
I think the election affected a lot of companies differently. Some people, reacted negatively where they, slowed business down and closed accounts or shrank. Others bought more inventory, like we did.
Right.
You know, we prepared for the long haul and just, bit the bullet and made sure we had enough inventory or material to build product. And that's what we're doing, but not everybody is.
Right. Right. No, yeah, we kind of just been, really pushing hard and stuff, like I said, and talking to everybody and we haven't really changed anything that we're doing, other than just, continue to work hard.
Do you already have the 2025 machines that you're starting to build, to start that season off?
We have most of them, but not all of them. We are still waiting on some renegades and stuff like that for some people. So, but I also heard that there's a possibility that they might be starting a week or two even earlier this year coming up again.
Wouldn't that help the sport?
What, to start early?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's hard for companies like us though, when you have about a 3 month window to kind of get a bunch of bikes built or rebuilt for next season. So it makes it kind of tough, when they keep moving the schedule start time up earlier, because like we were starting, originally we used to start first weekend in March was first GNCC. Now we're starting about the second week of February. Now I heard they're talking about moving it up even sooner. So I don't know. It just cuts
I
our
remember,
time to get stuff ready.
yeah, I get it. I remember one year we were racing Works and we ended in December, and 6 weeks later we were supposed to start the new year.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that is hard to do. As a builder like you guys are and we are, it's you got to get motors done, suspension done, chassis done. I mean, there's just so much to do, and it's not like we're just one person and we're doing a bike for ourselves. We're doing a bike for tons of people. So we don't have just one to do. We got a lot to do.
Right,
So
right. I think that year we raced the old machine 3 rounds before we could get the new machine done.
right. Yep. Yep.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Where do you see most of your work coming from? The 450 classes, the youth classes, or the 4x4 stuff?
Honestly, it's a really good mix of everything. We do a lot of Renegades, a lot of 450s, and even the mini stuff. And here lately, we've been having a lot of people even calling us about 50s and 90s that are wanting stuff done. So that's kind of cool too. To see these parents wanting to get these kids bikes built and stuff like that as well.
Well, that's where the sport begins, is with those 50s and those 90s, and then you hook those young people in for the rest of their lives sometimes.
Exactly. It's very addicting, that's for sure.
Oh, dude, you gotta love the sport or you wouldn't do it, right?
Oh, that's exactly right, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about Brandon Frazier. This young man is, um, I would want to call an anomaly. He has a deficiency and he has overcome it and became a national champion. And that's pretty incredible stuff. You guys help him. And why don't you tell me a little bit about him?
Yeah, honestly, he's a really great guy. I mean, he works really super hard. He puts a lot of effort into it. He has a good understanding on how his body works and what his body needs to perform. And he has, routines that he does each and every day and race day and stuff like that. And he just stays on top of everything to make sure his body's going to perform. And then we do our part, making sure the quad performs for him. And I'm gonna tell you, like, to watch this guy ride a renegade that, 1,000-pound machine like this thing is, and to watch him ride it's pretty impressive. You watch a good rider ride a 450, and it's cool and it's impressive, but to see somebody ride these things like he does, it's amazing.
Well, yeah, I've been watching his videos and Cody Collier's videos, and I started with Landon Wolf, and those guys are just poetry in motion when they're riding these 450s in an environment that, yes, it's made for them, but no, it's not.
I I know.
So what goes into building something like that? I mean, I know you guys do some frame mods. I've seen your bare frames, getting ready to go to powder and things like that. Um, is it's a full frame down? Do you guys get into the motors, anything like that?
No, believe it or not, I mean, engines are stock. We're flashing ECUs and doing exhaust stuff like that. And, I mean, really like chassis stuff is where it's at. We do a lot of. I mean, every bike has to come all the way down. We blast them and weld everything up and put braces in where they need to be because there's a lot of places they're going to break, especially when you ride them like he does. And so really just strengthening everything up and doing suspension, and he's even running, we're just running the factory suspension that we revalve and respring and set it up to what he likes, and we've got a lot of R&D time in with him and a lot of testing to get the bikes to where they are now and how they work and stuff and where he's happy with them.
Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, Score, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and Works, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs. I was talking to Joe Tall from ATV On Demand, and we've been, talking about the different models that are coming out in the lower classes. You know, you don't have an XC2 in Pro 4x4 or the 4x4 division. What would you think if they came out with a smaller bore class and called it like an XC2 4x4 so that they would have the Pro-Am division that would step up to the 1000s?
It's honestly not a terrible idea, to be honest with you, because you got the 850s out there and stuff like that people could run. And honestly, Brandon's rode some 850 stuff and they're really highly competitive. Honestly, a good rider on an 850 could probably compete. Um, like I said, like if Brandon rode an 850, I think he could still compete. Um,
Was it
So
Carl Collier on an 850 a couple years ago?
I think he might have been. I think so.
Yeah.
So it's definitely competitive, you know, and like you said, having an XC2 class for that's not a terrible idea. You know, I know they got 4x4 A, B, and C, but you could do an XC2 class and probably have some.
I know because they have, I forget the exact CC levels in the different deals, but you could have 5 different manufacturers in that class
Right,
one time, with Kawasaki, Suzuki, um, Can-Am,
players.
Polaris, and CF Moto.
Yeah, yeah,
We kick Honda out of there because they don't have anything competitive. So
right.
it's kind of shocking that Honda has nothing competitive.
No, I know, I know, and it's but it's just like the whole 450 thing. I mean, come on, Yamaha's been continuing to make a 450, and Honda has no interest, not going to do it. I don't foresee them ever doing it. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
A couple of years ago, I was thinking, well, earlier this year, I was thinking that the industry's so quiet, something was going to break because
Right,
in the past, it all locked up. You didn't hear anything. There was no information out there. And then bam, the floodgates opened up and you had machines.
right.
Not not this year. This year the chain was quiet and nobody there was nothing came out.
I know.
CF Moto has a 450 motorcycle, and they were asked at one of their intros, they made a comment about their 450 motorcycle, and they says, "Well, why don't you put it into a sport quad?" And the guy smiled and winked and walked away. Does that mean that we're going to get one?
I mean, there's a possibility, you know, and it would be nice to see some more come back. I wish that everybody would bring back a 450, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, like, and to see all those guys get back at it, um, we really need it, and that would really help the sport. That would help all the aftermarket manufacturers like you and I. I mean, we can go back in and develop new products again now, for all the new 450s that came out, and this is hopes and dreams. I mean, granted, I mean, I guess it could happen, but I don't know.
Brother, I can barely, I can't even keep up with what I have. You give me new models to develop product for, I don't know I don't know what I would do. I really
You
don't.
hire more, you just hire more people and do more.
Because on here on the West Coast, there's nobody to hire.
Well, then you just have to move the company out this way.
You've talked to me about that before,
Huh?
and you know, um, the thought crosses my mind, but we're tied in family wise here, and I just don't know if we could ever make it work. I
It
couldn't get
would be
enough.
tough. I know.
I mean, I'd like to, but I'm going to get out to your way and see what it's like out there and get to a couple cross countries this coming 2025, one way or another. Even if I got to sell the farm to do it, I'm going to get out there because the racing is so exciting and so competitive in so many different classes. It's unbelievable that the industry supposedly is dying, and your numbers are growing constantly.
Oh my gosh. We just got done with the Ironman GNCC and it was unreal how many people was there, spectators, racers, you had business owners, companies, like just tons of people out there. The event is so big. It's like it's unreal to actually see. And I was good to see that many people there.
Well, we were thinking that it possibly one of the largest off-road events in the country.
Ah, yeah. It had to have been.
That's incredible. Do you do any two-wheeler stuff, or is it just all ATV?
I have capabilities. We do suspension and stuff on dirt bikes. I don't really push it. I haven't pushed it. I mean, I can do pretty much about anything with any of the dirt bikes and stuff, but I don't know. I really haven't went after that line of work really.
Well, that's good that it's always there if you need it, right?
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
I want to add, let's talk about suspension a little bit. I saw a post. You had some shocks that you were servicing, and you put it on Instagram. How much of the business is suspension versus motor?
Well, I mean, we still do quite a bit more suspension than we do motors, but I got quite a bit of motors and stuff on the bench as well, and um, it's something we kind of would like to grow more, but again, it's kind of hard when we're busy as crap already, because then we have the race prep side of things. So like I got guys on that side of the shop doing all that, and I got a guy that's doing suspension and motors both. So he's kind of bouncing back and forth, but um, and then I can jump in and help suspension and motors just depending on what's going on, where they need me at or whatnot. But it's it's still more suspension than motors.
So do you guys have like a retail deal where people call you on the phone and order parts, or is it you just service the machines that come in the machine in from the races?
Nice full shop. I mean, we got retail stuff, everything, and we have like an online store, so we sell online, things like that. So a little bit of everything, really, honestly. We even work
That's
on
all.
stuff. It just depends.
What
I
was
get
that? I didn't.
No, we work on non-race stuff as well. Like we're right at the shop right now. We currently have some side by sides there that are just recreational stuff that people don't race. They go to Hatfield McCoy and they go ride and they want tires and wheels and tree kickers put on it, roll cages, stuff like that. So we do a whole bunch of things like that as well.
Do you like that portion of the business, the UTV business?
I do. I really do. I would love to grow that side of the company more, to be honest with you.
You almost need to bring a specialist in and have him run that side for you.
Yeah, and actually we have full capabilities of doing that as well. Because I have enough guys there, we can do it. It's just like finding the best marketing to pull that work in. Like I haven't really found per se the best way to get that work starting to come in the doors. Like we're getting it, but like not getting it like I want to.
Well, I think, a little bit of it's patience because you're known for ATVs and it's
Right,
going to take a little while for them to understand that you can also do the UTV side. I have
right.
people ask me all the time if I'll work on them, and I have to tell them no. I'm not a car mechanic. I won't do it. I tried a little bit, and not everybody knows this, but every UTV I've tested, it's been on its upside down.
Uh-oh.
And I just don't think that me and UTVs are meant to even exist together.
Right. I love it. I have one myself and my family and we go and ride and stuff like that when we have a little free time and I really enjoy it, and we like building things and we like building cool stuff and those things are the same way. It's like you take a stock one, you bring it in and you put the cage on it and you put the exhaust on it, flash the ECU and put all the fancy lights and things like that on it. And then you stand back and you look at it and you're like, man, this thing's badass. Like we just built this, and we actually, a few years ago, we were able to build we built a side by side that went to the Baja 1000 for Jason Stewart and Action Off Road. And we built it and it finished and stuff, and done really well. And that was a really cool thing we got to do. And I can't remember, we might have talked about that a little bit on the last time we were on the show, but um, I don't know, just building stuff like that and competing and winning and stuff like that. It's what we love to do.
That's what it's really all about. You're passionate about the sport you love, and you still like to compete in it. Maybe not on the track, but you're building machines that are on the track or,
Right,
being ridden, whatever the case may be.
right, right. I've been racing a little bit too. I've been enjoying that. That's been a lot of fun to get back out on the track a little bit.
Do they have a class for that age bracket?
Are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I know you're probably younger than I am, so
Now I'm 47. I'm not much younger.
yeah, you're 12 years younger or 11 years younger.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
You're still a baby. You know, I'm closer to 60 than I really ever thought I would ever be, but
No, I get it.
it happens, right?
It does. It does.
Creeps up on you really fast. Have you gotten to look at or do any investigative work on the Gen 3 chassis from Can-Am?
No, no, nothing yet.
That
No,
is going to shock you.
really,
That good,
really.
really.
So when are they
That
going to release that?
well, they did in the Outlander, but 2026, it's going to come out on the Renegade.
26. Okay. So they basically kind of like mid to end of next year.
Yep. And I think you should get an Outlander and check it out because you're going to be shocked at how well that machine handles. And see, I'm not a 4x4 guy, and I'm here promoting a 4x4 as fun to ride because it did everything that I wanted it to do at the speed that I couldn't believe that it could go through the bumps that fast.
Right.
Uh, I couldn't believe it was as comfortable to ride as it was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
dude. And
yeah, we'll get our hands on one and definitely do some testing on that for sure.
yeah, I think that it's something that will change. I don't think it's going to revolutionize the industry, but it's going to change it some.
Right.
I don't know the durability until you put some time on it and I don't know how durable it's going to be.
Right.
I got to go to I got to go to Canada, British Columbia for ATV on demand, and I had a lot of questions for them that I don't think they were ready for. But um, some of the things they were doing were not things that I had seen in the long run be super successful. But they say they have hours and hours of testing on it that it is working.
Right.
The clutch is quiet and shifts like smooth as butter. You can't even tell. I mean, it's totally different than the clunky way that they worked in the past.
Right. Right.
And
That's
I'm not trying to sell this to anybody. I just really enjoyed that machine.
right. Heck yeah.
It-
We're definitely going to be checking that out.
that's good. That's good. What do you guys have new for the 450s? Have you guys been doing any development for the YFZ 450R? Have you got any, things that you could throw at it in 2025 that nobody's expecting yet?
I mean, we are working on a few things, actually for the 450s and the Renegades. But I'm not as far as I wanted to be at this point of time, but we're trying to get a little bit farther. Um, I'm not far enough that I really want to talk about it right now, but you
But
know,
you're developing.
we're trying to do some stuff. I mean, because there's some things out there that's kind of tough to get and stuff, and so we're trying to make that a little easier and more available to customers and stuff. So yeah, we are. I mean, we're working on some stuff.
In the cross country deal, because I have never asked this question, I assumed, and you know what happens when you assume,
Right.
what kind of rear linkage systems are you guys using, or do you change the linkage in the rear to get the rear ends to work better?
Yeah, so we have like for the Honda, we have a long travel linkage. It's got a stainless steel skid plate on it and stuff. It allows for a longer shock, things like that. We use that on the Honda. The Yamaha we currently have, we usually just run the stock knuckle and then running our billet pull rod with that. But we're definitely going to come out with a full linkage setup on the YFZR here soon as well. So
Is that something that you're changing the length of the shaft or changing the travel on the shock to get it to work better?
yeah, oh yeah, yep.
Is this all, do you develop it for all the all the manufactured shocks, or are you just doing it for one brand?
No, all the manufactured shocks. Because then, we work with Elka, Axis, Motowaz. I mean, the whole everything. So we want to make sure that it's available for all brand shocks.
Excellent, excellent. That's best way to develop it so there's no favoritism.
Exactly.
Have you guys tested an aftermarket shock for your Renegade,
Yes.
and you
Yep.
prefer the stock shock?
I mean, it works. The aftermarket stuff works too. And we can make either one of them work. But that's like as far as Brandon goes, that's kind of what he that's kind of what he prefers. So there's just so much testing time in the Fox stuff that we've done.
And he just likes it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a diehard Elka guy, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but those Fox shocks that were on that Outlander were very adjustable
Right.
and worked pretty damn well for an OEM shock. I mean, I'm not used to OEM shocks working as well as those did.
Oh yeah. No, they work good. And with tuning they can get even better.
Let me ask you this, beings that you know more about the suspension side of it than I do, and I don't want any trade secrets, okay? That's not what I'm asking for. There are a couple of companies and a couple of people out there that are revalving or working with the stock YFCR shocks. Do you do anything like that?
We do. Yep. So, back even like when the first 450 that came out was the carbureted Yamaha back in 2004. And we were doing spring kits and valving and stuff on those, pretty much that same year. We developed that stuff. And so yeah, we just kind of kept it going along. I mean, we do it for the Kawasaki 450, the Yamaha 450, the Hondas. I mean, I have kits for pretty much all those bikes.
And which level of rider, or is it more of a recreational thing, or do some racers use them?
Oh, we got race guys that use them as well. I've literally had, and this has been crazy, to hear, but I've literally had customers that had our revalves before, went to an aftermarket shock, didn't like the aftermarket shock, ended up getting rid of it and going back to our revalves. It's
Really?
kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And we spent a lot of time in development on that stuff as well.
I haven't found a revalve that I like yet.
Really?
Yep. I put those stage fives on there and love them. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people will talk about, whether you talk to Roll or yourself, they want to go through them after they come from Elka or whatever, however the
Right.
process works. And, I've had great success out of the box with Elka.
Right. Yeah, and normally we do find, and like Doug Roll said too. I mean, normally we have found that if we take the factory Elka shocks and tear them down, we do some length changes usually especially for out east. The shock setup's different than it is out there where you're at. So we have found that when we take the shocks, the new Elkas apart, we change some valving, we change some lengths. It does make a big difference on how they work out of the box versus how we do them.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it helps because people want to buy them from us as well because they are like, well, heck, instead of getting an off the shelf shock, we're going to get, you're going to get the shock into you. You're going to tailor it more toward what I want, and then I'm going to get the shock. And that's what people buy from us because they want that extra little bit.
Right. Sound like it's just like when somebody buys a shock from Roll, they're setting it up their way. Yeah,
Yep.
same setup. That's great. You gotten to do a little bit of different stuff in your life as far as a racer and a rider. How much difference, if I'm going to set up a YFZ 450R from the West Coast to the East Coast, how much difference is there going to be?
There's quite a bit of difference. I mean, because out west, you guys, nothing's really that tight. So you can run bikes that are 50 inches wide, and it's, the width is different. The way the suspension works is decent amount different as well. So yeah, because I've been out west, and I got to ride some out there, not as much as I'd like to have. I'd like to have gotten out there a whole lot more. Um, but the parts that I did come out to and ride, it is quite a bit of difference. The speeds are more faster out west. I mean, you guys are more open, and that's why the wider bikes are going to work better and stuff like that. But it is quite a bit of difference.
Would you, because Max Lindquist, I got to talk to him a few
Yep.
weeks ago, and he had just come from Ironman,
Yep.
and he rode his 50-inch bike at Ironman, which I've been told by a number of riders that it's possible. You probably shouldn't, but you can get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. 47 inches is a little bit better width, on average for cross country versus the 50.
Right, right.
So,
But he said, yeah, he said the suspension, like from the works race to that, he goes, yeah, he needed to change it, but he didn't have time to do everything that he wanted to do.
right. Right. It's different. It's definitely different. I
You
love
think
the stuff.
it's the speed?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is the speed. Yeah. But the terrain out west is a lot different than out here, too.
As far as
I don't know. Like, and again, granted, I haven't got to ride like, because I did a works race out in Arizona. And I think I remembered it being, it, correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like it was, I feel like it got whooped out a lot more than what like it does out east out here.
what course did you ride? Do you remember?
I remembered it had a motocross track. Ah,
We've raced a lot of different places there in Arizona.
I know. God, I can't remember. It's been so long ago. I rode a Can-Am DS 450 out there.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? Tell me about it. Yeah. So yeah, I can't remember. I just remember the track, and I remember I didn't have enough horsepower or any of that kind of stuff because it was a woods bike that we had. So obviously I wasn't 50 inches. I wasn't, I was down horsepower and everything else. So, but it was still fun. Like I love that style racing. That's just I like the more open tracks, let it hang out. I like the jump and all that kind of stuff too. So
That sounds fun. What is the key to being a great cross country racer?
um really just build you have to be able to get deal with any kind of obstacle. Like you're going to see everything. You're going to see mud, you're going to see deep creek crossings, you're going to see rocks, hill climbs, downhills. You're going to have to go over trees. Like you get everything, and you got to be in shape. Like yeah, the moto guys, and I ran national motocross as well, and you got to be in shape for that as well. But it's so completely different though. Like you just because you're in tip top shape and you can ride a moto race, and run 20 minutes plus a couple laps, you can't. That same guy can't go out to a cross country race and expect to ride the pro class there and finish in the top. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's harder. The conditioning for your body is different. The way you ride is different. It's there's quite a bit of differences there. Um, so I mean, really, obviously, shape. I mean, you got to ride for 2 hours. And back in the day, you could kind of like get away with pacing yourself, and even in a pro class, you were able to pace a little bit and all. But nowadays, the speeds are so fast. There's pro class, there's no pacing anymore. You come out of the gate and you're on it, and you got to do that for 2 hours straight. and be in shape and be able to take all those obstacles.
I heard a rumor that in 2025 they're going to go a little old school on some of the races where they tighten them back up and make it more technical, slow the speeds down, and just make it like it was in the old days where that narrow machine, it had to be narrow to make it through the bushes, and you had to really be able to line choice correctly or you weren't going to be able to make it.
That's yeah, because I actually raced Ironman this year, and the difference in the tracks compared to what they used to be is quite a bit of difference. The speeds are just so much more faster because the tracks are wider now, and I just noticed that. I mean, it was just you're wide open pretty much the whole damn time, and they're not as it used to be. So I could see that.
Well, you rode back when when they'd make the track a couple days before with a machete, right?
Yes, and you had to walk it. Yeah, there was no e-bikes, there was none of that stuff. So yeah, it's changed a lot since back when I was racing pro.
Do you think that they will have success doing that? Because that's going to change the whole dynamics of the game, where a Bryson Neal can just manhandle his machine through there. Do you think it will affect him because he is so overwhelmingly fast?
I mean, it's gonna affect a lot of people, I think, and it probably isn't a terrible idea to slow the stuff down a little bit because I'm telling you, like the speeds that you carry now is fast, and to slow it down to what it used to be like when Balance was winning and Barry Hawk was winning and stuff like that. I'm telling you, it's a big difference from the tracks then to the tracks now. Huge difference. I think it's
What
going
would
to affect a lot of people.
what would you like to see?
Um, I think going back a little bit more old school, I think is going to definitely help it. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people that's not going to like it. Man, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind to see it go back old school just because that's how it was when I raced.
Yeah, that would be great. Just a second, we'll have to edit this part.
It's fine.
My father's actually just went to the hospital. So
Oh,
yeah, we think you guys got an infection, but we've been dealing with that all day. But
right.
Lauren took him, so uh,
Okay.
we'll and I'm supposed to go to Guadalajara on Monday for my
Right.
daughter's wedding. So
Oh, you got a lot going on.
oh, you have no idea. And as soon as I get back, and as soon as I get back, um, I gotta go to the do a dirt wheels deal with 3 bikes.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it is busy, but I'll tell Valeria to edit this part out. But
Yeah.
I think that if we could control the tracks a little better, we could even make it even more racier with more competitive. I mean, I don't remember having 4 different people win a cross country race in one year like they did this year.
Right.
I mean, I just don't remember it. When was the last time it happened? Do you know?
That it had 4 different people win.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no.
See, I mean, we're talking about all kinds of different stuff going on with, when it was Walker winning, and maybe Bryson would win a race for a few times, or there was somebody else that was winning a race, and then so that was all Walker's area. Then Chris Borich, when he was winning all the time, then you could see Adam McGill come in there a little bit, or somebody else would come in there. When Balance was winning, guess I think Balance won them all always, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
but he was a tough guy to beat. Yeah.
and Barry Hawk was kind of the same way.
Yep.
But Barry was telling me that a lot of times he would win at the end of the race.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
I liked Barry's style. I liked the way he rode. I liked the way he thought, and he he was a good racer and he was smart the way he done it, and um yeah, he a lot of them he just took right at the end, and he did what he had to do to win. And that's all that mattered, was just that little bit. I'm sure he had a whole lot more to give, but why give it if he didn't need to give it?
yeah, he said some of those times that the race would come to him.
Yep.
He would just be out there doing his thing. They'd run away from him a little bit in the beginning, and end of
Right.
the race, it just came to him, and he'd get out front and it'd be over.
I'm gonna tell you, like I rode, Indiana. I rode at Ironman. I rode the industry class, and Barry was out there with me too. And I'm gonna tell you what, the guy's still fast. He is fast on the quad.
How do you think he would do in the XC1 class today?
Um, if his body would hold up for the whole 2 hours, I honestly I think he'd do pretty damn good. To be truthful, like I seen it firsthand, and I got to ride with them some out there at Ironman, and he's fast. He is fast.
They had the Legends race in Ohio at Briarcliff this year for the
Yeah,
motocross guys.
I wanted
And
to
I
go
know
there.
that the Legends only did 10 minutes, but they said that the lap times that Natalie and Wimmer were throwing down would have put them well inside the top five.
Yeah, I love it. Give me cold chills just saying that. That's impressive.
Yeah, Wimmer's in his late 30s, like Weenan, and Natalie's 47 or 48.
Yep, he's my age. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Sim-
incredible. Natalie's a
Yeah.
phenom. I mean, the guy's just made out of muscle, and I think he's like fine wine. He's getting better with age.
Yep, I agree with that.
Unbelievable. I mean, Eichner and Barry McCarty were there. They were the oldest two guys, and they were just shy of 60.
Really. Wow. I hate I miss that.
It was quite the event. I mean, I was a little fanboy. I was supposed to be videoing at the start, and I messed up the first start because I was, talking and lollygagging and not watching the video on my phone, and I videoed my pant leg for 20 minutes.
Uh,
Yeah, my daughter was not happy with me, but it happens. What are you gonna do? Go ahead. We got a Wi-Fi freeze here. We're back. Are we back?
yeah, I got you.
Oh, we froze there for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Got to see a lot of people that I hadn't seen. Got to meet some guys from that era or the era just after I was there that I had never got to meet. So yeah,
Right.
it was pretty cool.
I'm sure.
And now I wonder if they're ever going to have a Legends race at the cross country side.
I don't know, because I think they've talked about it multiple times, but it just never came through and happened.
Well, Chris Borich still races today.
He does.
So how are you going to let him in he's a legend. How are you going to let him in the Legends class if he's still racing today?
Yeah. Yeah, because that would make it tough for sure.
Yeah, that's I know that they had Bob Sloan's machine there, and they had and Barry's machines. Who else's machines did they debut?
Oh my gosh. I remember Stones and Berries. They had I think one of Balance's bikes was there. Um then there was some other stuff. There was a whole line of quads. I was pretty busy that weekend, so I didn't get to I walked through real quick one time, and that was about all I got to see of it. But there was a whole line of them over there at the pro pits that they had. I think McGill kind of coordinated all that, and he done a very good job with it.
Yeah, that guy's a kick in the ass, man. I like Adam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he loves the sport, and he supports it, and he's a good dude. I really like him.
Well, he's kind of still a fierce competitor. I mean, you give that guy a little bit of room on the track and he's going to take it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, and he will not get off the Honda no matter what.
Nope, nope. I gave him a hard time about that. I was like, "Hey, you gonna switch to Yamaha?" And he's like, "No, not happening."
Well, he's got enough. He said he's got enough parts to race for a while.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, hey, no problem. That's a good deal.
yeah. There's no,
I don't have anything wrong. I don't have any problem with him running a Honda out there. I mean, we're still building Hondas and we're still working on them. I'm just worried that Honda's going to drop the line.
I know. And then you can't get parts.
Right.
I know. That's scary.
The 0405 sales have dropped completely away because
Yep.
you can't. I mean, even the recreational people know don't buy that because you can't buy parts.
Right. Yeah, and now we're at 10-year mark. Last year they made it 2014. Here we are 2024. That's 10 years. So
And I wish Mr. Honda was still alive because then we'd still be able to get parts for all of it.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, right after he died, they gutted those warehouses.
Yeah.
Just crying
I,
shame.
it is. It really is.
Oh well. Well, what are we gonna do, right?
I know where it all started.
Right, right. Hey, so what do you got prediction wise coming into 2025, as far as some of the classes, we've seen Jessica Elioff win her consecutive title. You still have Hannah Hunter, who is a three-time champ, chomping at the bit in third there. And then you got Chloe Harper that won four in a row at the
Yeah.
end. What do you think's going to go on there? Do you think Jessica can come out and do it again, or do you think Chloe or Hannah is going to, surprise her?
Those three girls are all going to be fast, no matter what. And I think I think Harper's going to be on it. Like I think she's going to be a tough one to beat next year. Like I know she's been working hard at it and put a lot of effort in. I actually went up to the Fast Tracks race up in Ohio a few months ago, and I actually got to ride with both of them, and it's pretty impressive how fast those girls are, and they're very very competitive. So I don't know. I think next year's in the women's pro class is going to be a tough one,
I,
honestly.
that's one of my favorite classes to watch because you just never know who's going to win.
So,
I thought Jessica almost had a chance in the beginning of the year to go undefeated, and Harper and Hunter said, "No way, that's just not going to happen."
nah, they're all fierce competitors, and they're going to fight for it every single year. And I think you're going to see it again next year.
What about so talk to me a little bit about the transition from your A450 classes into that XC2 class because we saw Logan Steele come out of one of those classes right into the XC2 at the last race of the year, put himself on the podium. Is this a normal phenomenon for a young man to be able to not be considered one of those guys and then to just shock everybody into, hey, I'm here and I'm fast?
I mean, I'm going to tell you, a lot of these kids, it's getting to the point where there's so much talent out there, and the machines are coming a long ways and stuff, and these kids are working really, really hard, and they have no fear, and so no, it's not, it's really not honestly, I think it's kind of a little bit more on a norm, because you're not going to have a ton of them like that, but you're going to have quite a few that's got that talent, that's going to come up there and perform and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, yeah,
Grayson Eller was my pick for the title in the XC2 class. I figure he would win it and then move up into the XC1 class. Um, and unfortunately, Alex Thyman had a whole different idea about the whole thing, especially in that last round where he came out and won the race and, put a stamp on it, said, "This is mine."
Right.
Um, I was shocked because he's a rookie in the class. It was his first year running XC, and Grayson's been there a little while. And uh, I don't know what happened because Grayson had a picture perfect year almost with, I mean, he almost had every race on the podium.
Yeah, I know, but it all goes back to, there's just so much talent, and those upper classes like that are getting really, really difficult to win and stuff. And you like I said, you're always going to have a guy that's going to come up that you don't see, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's there and he's winning races and things like that. And, he's putting the effort into it. So it's hard. You gotta put the work on and off the track, and some of these guys do and some don't. And it's gonna always show who does and who don't. And you're gonna it's there's always gonna be. That's the thing I like about the industry, is there's always surprises in these classes. You sometimes you just never know. You never know who's gonna win.
Right, exactly. I mean, you got guys coming up in the XC1 class. Fowler's still fast. I think this year at the end of the season showed that he still has something left in the tank, for Bryson. And Bryson's a stud. I mean, that guy's a monster. I,
Yes.
I can see him winning a couple more titles, but you could also see somebody coming in there and squeaking one away from him.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, Bryson's in great shape, and he works really hard, preparing for stuff. I think the biggest thing Bryson fights a little bit is bike issues. Every now and again, he has some little mechanical issues or something that kind of throws him back a little bit, And when you have people like Walker and stuff like that that doesn't ever have mechanical issues, that's hard to beat, because in the pro class, if you break one or two races, it's usually that means you're done. Like it's the championship's going to be out, and I know Bryson's had some mechanical difficulties that's kind of set him back a little bit and made things a little closer than it should be. Um,
Right.
like I said, Walker, he's going to be on it every single time. He's consistent. He knows what it takes to win, and his mechanic Mark is a great guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to prepare the bikes so they're not going to break. So that's going to be key, and that's hard to beat. You can be the fastest guy out there, but the bike's got to finish every single time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I just see so much I see so much competitiveness in that class. If you didn't have a Bryson Neal, you could have had 6 or 7 different winners in that class.
Yeah, I mean, look at Cole Richardson. Cole was out. He hasn't been racing, and he gets a bike ready and stuff, and comes out to Ironman, and is putting a beating on him and running up front. I think Bryson only beat him by, I think it was less than 10 seconds. It was a very, very close race. So there's just so much talent and so many people out there that can win that class.
I would bet the farm on Cole if I had the money to back him.
Yep,
I
yep,
like I like that young man, and I think he's very, very fast. And I'm not taking anything away from any of those other guys in that class,
right.
but when you look at the results and you look at the climb, he's a very talented young man, and it's unfortunately in his life, it's not there for him to be able to race.
Right, right.
And it's a shame, but it is the way our industry works.
It
No,
is.
nobody's able to just go out there and be able to afford it all the time.
No,
So
and
let's talk about the class that you enjoy the most, the 4x4 Pro class. You have some guys that are coming up in there, Caden and Mickelson. I mean, these guys are on the cusp of jumping into that realm that Cody and Brandon have held on to so tightly. I don't know what it's going to look like if it's a 4 bike race or a 5 bike race.
Yeah, next year could be very interesting. And and I know Brandon's not going to let up, and he's hungry. We've already been working on bikes for next season and all that. Been working on bikes for next season, so um, he's going to be tough. Brandon's going to put the time, during the off season to make sure he's ready to go at round one. But then, like you said, you got Caden and Hayden and all those guys that have a ton of talent, and they're young and they're hungry and they're going to want to get up there and win some races as well. So I think it's going to be a good year next year for 4x4 Pro, and it's going to be interesting.
Why do you think that Can-Am hasn't stepped in to help the 4x4 Pro guys?
I don't know. There was some good support back when Landon was racing and winning races and stuff, and Landon had a really great program. And then since then the program kind of really dropped off. Um, and it's getting harder and harder to get help, out there to kind of support these guys. And it kind of sucks because the 4x4 class really has grown huge from what it was to what it is now. But just I don't know, there's just not a lot of support from Can-Am anymore. Before we could call and if we had some issues or whatever, we could call and get some special help and special parts and things that we need. But really now it's kind of really dried up, and it's really a shame, that the help's not out there like it used to be.
Well, when I got to go to this intro in Canada for ATV-TALK or ATV on Demand, one of the first things I had to do with the conversation with the engineers I got to talk to was, where's your new 450 and why aren't you helping the 4x4 pros?
Really? What did they say?
Crickets. Crickets. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
So we're talking about the 450 and he goes, and we hashed back and forth a little bit and talked, and then he goes, okay, that's enough. That's not why we're here.
Wow.
So
That,
I don't know if they're interested. A representative from Can-Am said they would come on the show, and we're still trying to work out the details. Everybody knows that I'm an unscripted show, and we talk about what we talk about, and they're struggling. They're struggling with that.
yeah.
They want to know the questions ahead of time. I don't have questions ahead of time. It's about the conversation. It's about what we talk about and the answers that you give as to where I go.
Right. Hmm. Yeah. I think that's going to be a hard one to get on the show for sure.
Well, they said they would do it, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes, and maybe they give me somebody in the marketing who could give me some positive answers, because I don't know if one of the engineers. Plus, they were pretty secretive about what their next project is.
Right. Huh.
They wouldn't give us the information. They wouldn't even hint at it, which is a good thing, bad thing.
Right. I
You
don't
know,
know.
you,
Maybe it's something cool.
well, you wouldn't give us yours either, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Proprietary things, you need to develop your product and you need to save, because there could be 10 guys making the same thing.
Right. Right.
But brother, it's always great to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you had some excitement go on in your life on Monday or Sunday night, whenever it was, which delayed us getting together. But I hope that's working out for you and the family, and that you have a great crew back there to help you. So I'm sure that you guys will overcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, everything's been good. We've been moving forward and all is well for sure.
Excellent, excellent. So, what do you have for the young riders that are looking for possible support in 2025? And what would they do to reach out to you? What are you looking for? And what do you want them to do if they're going to have Derisi Racing build their machines or work with them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we have some spots open as far as race preps go for the 2025. So if somebody's needing a bike prepped or and brought to all the races or whatever, we have some room for that. As far as sponsorship stuff goes, I mean, they need to email their resumes in and stuff. I know we're closing that up at the end of this month. And then we'll start sending stuff back, 1st of December. Um, and really, I mean, social media is everything. People need to be getting on your show. All these riders need to be getting on there. They should be like you. They should be contacting you left and right, wanting to do shows. We've talked to Brandon Fraser. I know you've talked to him a little bit.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share us with your family and friends. The podcast is available on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on social media as ATV-TALK Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter.